Hello and welcome. This is Melskunner, and we're back with some more Wargame Airland Battle. And we are at the beginning of the 4th day, and it's time for me to do my planning on the campaign map. And I have a few options open to me. Option number 1 is to go defensive and turtle up and deploy units to try and hold out the line that we have until we can get more units deployed. The other options involve offensives. So option 1 for offensives would be to attack this region here. I have 2 Swedish units that are available for the attack. This unit here doesn't have as good a morale, but this unit is fantastic in morale, and we're good on initiative. Now, the unit I'm going to be fighting against, I've already done the aerial recon of them once, so I know that their morale is going to be pretty decent, and they have full initiative. Now, I don't know if they're going to get reinforcements from Sundsvall, so I would want to probably do an aerial recon of Sundsvall if I wanted to be sure that they didn't have that ability to reinforce, or I could just go in blind and have hopefully 2-on-1 attack here. Now, I don't have as many options as far as doing anything to limit the ability of this unit, so more than likely I would be going in there just with the units themselves. Offensive option number 2 is to go after Trondheim here. I feel that the enemy is overextended by sending this unit in, and we've already beat up on this unit. If I am remembering correctly, this is the unit we've already engaged in this zone, and then we routed them and sent them back. Now, they've had a couple turns to regroup and regain their initiative. I assume that their morale is still going to be low because R&R only improves your initiative, your morale so much. So their initiative may have recovered, but their morale at best is probably sitting around 4. So we can take advantage of that. We have a high morale unit here, and we could deploy a unit to do a naval invasion as well. So we'd have 2-on-1. Now again, I'd have to check for reinforcements, so that'd be coming from this region. Technically, they could bring reinforcements from over here, but we can already see that there's a unit here, and they'd have to vacate the zone. So they'd have to do quite a bit of shifting to be able to send in reinforcements from this direction, either from Sundsvall or from this region here. They'd have to bring units down. So I really don't know how many units they have back here. I only have so many aerial recons, so I don't know if I want to blow them all this turn. So I can either go with one offensive, both offensives, or no offensives. That's pretty much my options right now. So let's take a look at what we have right now going on, just so that I can... we don't know anything about the units that I haven't done area recon of, but the ones we're engaging we can see quite clearly. So this unit here I've beaten up quite a bit. I already took a look at what units I have available and what units the enemy has that we can see. So these guys have been beaten to hell. They have almost no infantry left. They do have some planes left, but they are either multi-role or going to be ground attackers. They have quite a bit of tanks left, though. As we see, only 7 infantry units left, but a lot of tanks left, as well as their most advanced tanks, the T-72Bs here, at least for this unit, are available. Now, these are expensive units, and these guys have no initiative, so we probably can take advantage of them pretty well, as long as we have some anti-tank capability. Moving on, we have this new unit, the motorized unit, and their strength has been pretty weakened. They're mostly infantry. They do have some tanks, only 26, and they're of the T-72A variant, but still a pretty formidable opponent at times. The stabilizer's bad, so they're going to be more firing stationary, what have you. Planes-wise, they have a fair number. They have 7, at least better than the other unit. One which is going to be air superiority, and the rest are either going to be ground attacking or multi-role for the most part. So if we can get up good anti-air defenses, then we should be able to keep these guys off of us to a certain extent, depending on our positioning. They do have also a decent number of helicopters as well that we have to worry about. My problem is what I have to face them. So our commander brigade took heavy casualties. We still have a lot of infantry, but I lost all of my helicopters. I only have one plane that's able to attack the ground, which is not going to be great if we're fighting a lot of armor, which it appears we might. And our anti-tank vehicles took a lot of casualties. We still have 19, but we had a lot more than that last time we fought. So this is going to be a tough fight for these guys, because this is pretty much all my anti-tank capability is. Just a single platoon of strikers and a little over 3 platoons, almost 4 platoons of these rover Milans with anti-tank missiles. Outside of that, it's just whatever anti-tank ability we have with our infantry, which is very limited in range. And considering this is a very open map, we might have some problems here. Considering also we have our initiative problems. We're good in morale for both of our units, Now, the Norwegian brigade here, I think, has a lot more anti-tank capability because I held a lot of that in reserve. At least I think so. So we have a few platoons, almost 4 platoons worth of tanks. Now, these are older generation tanks that aren't going to be able to stand up to the T-72s that we see that the enemy has. And we do have some vehicles with anti-tank capability. Yeah, I guess not as good as I thought. My air power, though, has been really depleted. I only have one that can strike the ground, and then I have one air-to-air. Well, technically, this F-16 can engage ground attack with the bombs. I lost a lot of my air power the last time I used this Norwegian brigade, so I'm not sure how well we're going to be able to stand here if we don't reinforce. So the wiser move may be reinforce and fight this fight, because we're pretty sure, I'm pretty sure that we can win here. Now, that does mean that I won't be able to take advantage of the units in Trondheim. Unfortunately, because of one of the options I chose, I don't have naval bombardment available. If I did, I would probably for sure go after Trondheim, but without that, I think I'm going to have to go with the more conservative route here and just try and fight this out. I may go with the offensive here, but I think we're going to go defensive on this side of things. So, let's take a look at what we have available. So I've looked at all the units that I have available, and I have a couple different strategies I can use here. Strategy number one is to deploy the best units I can to engage in here, and we're going to focus on anti-armor. Option number two is I go with a unit that only costs me 30. I can put into the area I need it to be, and then next turn, I could deploy another unit that costs 30. The problem is most of these units that cost 30 or less, they unfortunately deploy traditionally. So let's just take a look at the deployments here. So the 101st Airborne here, or Air Assault, can only deploy traditionally along the ports here. So at best, I'd be able to put them in Bergen or Oslo. Same thing applies to the 6th Brigade here. So deploy them, same zones that I can deploy into. The Light Brigade is air deployable, so they can go wherever I have airfields as well, or airports. So we could deploy them close to the line if we wanted to. But still, that's not deploying them directly into combat where we'd want them. Now, the French Parachute Brigade here, they can deploy pretty much anywhere on the map. So I could deploy them here, I could deploy them here offensively, I could deploy them anywhere, to be totally honest with you. So if we wanted to go with that offensive, we could put them in Trondheim. If we want to go defensive, we could put them here. Our other option, if we don't want to go with the 30 deployment cost, is one of our, we could either go with the 82nd Airborne, again, can deploy pretty much anywhere. The 1st Infantry Brigade here is going to be, again, traditional deploy along ports. Or we can go with the Marines here, which can deploy along the coastline. So we could have them enter either Trondheim offensively or Christland for defensive purposes. Now, between the two, we have the French Brigade, which air power wise, we have 13 planes. Most of those are going to be air superiority. So we have 5 Mirage 2000s, which only have air-to-air missiles and cannons. The cannons, we could do strafing runs, but outside of that, that's about it. The Mirage 5F here has bombs, fair number of bombs, but also air-to-air missiles. So this is more multi-role. But our other option here is the Jaguar, which is only anti-radar, which is what that that little symbol in the upper right means. And I'm not exactly sure how these work, but I'm going to assume, and this is my assumption, that these only work on enemies that have active radar. So that's going to be certain types of surface-to-air missiles, I'm going to guess. So I don't know how effective these are in other situations. I don't know if you can use them on just normal tanks. Very good AP power. I just don't know if you could use them that way. So really, the only ground attacker we may have here is these Mirage 5Fs. So not a lot in that regard. We have no tanks. We do have these Milan anti-tank armed vehicles, which there's only 12 of, so that's only 3 platoons. So that's not too much better than the units that are already in there. And then outside of that, we don't really have a whole lot. I have some mortars. I have a couple anti-air options. No helicopters. As far as recon units go, we do have some anti-tank options here. So we have got a recoilless rifle, and then we also have, is this anti-tank? Well, anti-armor capability, sure, but very limited. This is okay as well. So some recon options here to give us some capability. As far as our infantry goes, that's short-ranged and can only defeat up to 12 armor, and we've seen the T-72s can have better than that, at least in the front. Again, same weapon. Here we have same range, more effective though, much better AP power, so it could defeat the T-72s. And that seems to be the main bulk here is the infantry. So this French unit, probably not the best option. So moving on to the Marines have a little bit more capability. So we've got more planes. And we have the F-18s here, which actually have anti-tank missiles or anti-armor missiles that we can use. We do have the A-6 Intruders, which have bombs. We have 4 of those. And we have, again, anti-radar missiles. And then the Tomcats are just going to be air superiority. They just have air-to-air missiles. So we do, though, have a fair number of helicopters, the Sea Cobras, which do have anti-tank missiles, and they also have rockets, which is pretty good. And then we also have a couple of these Seahawks, which also have anti-tank missiles. So that's going to give us quite a bit of anti-tank capability. As far as vehicles go, we do have some recoilless rifles. We have a few platoons of the TOW anti-tank armed vehicles here. And this looks like a flame-throwing tank. We have the Sheridan, which has... Oh, I'm sorry, the M60. The Sheridan was with the 82nd Airborne, which we could deploy as well. M60 tank. So this is an older tank. As we can see, the armor is not great. AP power is at 13, so it's going to struggle against the frontal armor of the T-72s. So we're going to probably be overmatched there. But at least we have the tanks, which is better than some of the other options we have here. So I see that it seems the Marines have the better options, but if I do this, it's going to cost me all the points that I have, and I will not be able to deploy another unit. So if I were to use the parachute brigade, we wouldn't have as much anti-tank options, but we would be able to immediately follow it up with one of these other options here. So I have to make that decision. Now, if I do go with a 40 cost, I still have the 20 cost unit that I could deploy. They have low morale and poor initiative, so we would have to spend time to R&R them, but that is our option. So our other 40 cost option is the 82nd Airborne, which is going to have similar capabilities to what the Marines have. Just the tanks that we have are going to be the Sheridans, which have pretty much no armor, but they do have anti-tank missiles here, which would be a little bit more effective, maybe. Fair number of those. We do have the vehicles here. You know what, to be honest with you, the Airborne seems to be a little bit better of an option for us because we have a lot more anti-tank capabilities. Air power, it looks like we have about the same as planes. I can't remember. Was it 13, 14? Somewhere around there. F-15s are going to be our air-to-air. The F-4s look like they're going to be that anti-radar, but they do have anti-air capability. F-16s are going to be our cluster bombs, so that's going to be our ability. They also have anti-air-to-air missiles, but that's going to be our ability to take out some tanks as well. And then we have an F-117, which does have a bomb here. Not exactly sure what the situation we'd want to use that in, but it's going to be our stealth bomber here. So, you know what? Let's go with the 82nd Airborne. That seems to be the best option for me. We can deploy that anywhere we want. So again, we either go offensive here or we go with the defensive engagement. I think I'm going to go with the defensive engagement. As much as I feel like we could take Trondheim, if we did take Trondheim, that'd be most of the political power points that my enemy has available to me. But I am going to go with the offensive here with the Swedish units. So we'll do that. And that's my game plan. We could use the Marines for our offensive and a future turn. I am going to take the Panzer Brigade here, and we're going to move them up to Oslo. And I'm going to go ahead and move this unit, the Panzer Brigade, up into this region. We're going to take this Panzer Brigade up into Stockholm. So these two regions here are left open, but they are not worth any political power points. And I do have a unit that's here, and I have a unit that will be in Stockholm that we could deploy to engage if they do a naval landing here. But it seems like the enemy is able to do these landings. Well, maybe that was an airborne assault against this area here. So as we've seen, the aerial deployments that you can pretty much put anywhere if you want. Okay, so we've done all that. The one thing I do want to check real quick on our airborne unit. They don't have as much initiative as the Marines would have. Might not matter, though. Let's just go for it. Again, I think they're the most capable of taking out the armor that we have, we're seeing. Okay, we've done all that. Let's go ahead and end the turn here and see what happens. Okay, so we're going to have to hold out here with the Commando Brigade against this motorized regiment. I'm going to just look for a draw in this fight. If I can get a win, I can get a win, but I'm just looking for a draw until the 82nd comes in, and hopefully we can do that. Now, I'm not going to avoid the battle, even though it might be in my best interest to do so. I'm going to go ahead and launch here. So we're not going to be facing as many tanks as we would against the other unit. I'm not exactly sure which units we're going to have engaging where. Because we only have 900 deployment points, I think I'm going to change my strategy so that we're only going to try and hold on to 2 zones rather than 3. So I'm going to give up on this zone. So I'm going to go ahead and grab our rover vehicle here, and we're going to place it in the woods, and we're going to do similar strategy to what we did last time. By limiting how many zones we're having to hold on to, we are going to have, I think, a better chance of holding these guys back. So I think most of the fighting is probably going to happen down in the south here. Unfortunately, this guy's all divided up, but we can address that. So I'm going to put the strikers in here. We put them over here last time. I'm going to have to regroup them. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do that in the deployment, so it's going to be a little bit annoying for me, but we're just going to go ahead with that. Now, these guys can deploy right on top of Charlie, so I do have to be prepared for that. And then I'm going to grab a platoon of the... You know what? I might just take all of these guys, these 3, and deploy them down here. Oops. That's not what I want to grab. We want to grab the other more experienced units. And if we're going to have to regroup down here anyway, just focus my attention on regrouping over here, and we'll grab... that will be it. I'll just use those 3 for now. Okay, let's go ahead and deploy our anti-tank vehicles over here. Do I want to have them all in the same spot? I could put some over here. So if we are getting pushed, they wouldn't necessarily knock them all out in one go. Although these guys might not have good line of sight because of the hill. We'll have to see. All right, so those guys have been deployed. Now what I'd like is I'd like some anti-air, because these guys that we're fighting, they do have most of their stuff available. So what I may do... we could go with the anti-air infantry here. So we'll do a platoon of that. I would like a forward operating base down here. It's going to take some of my points to do so. More points than we can probably afford to give. Grab another anti-air unit here. And we only have 22 points left, which isn't going to give me much to do anything with, unfortunately. So, oh! We still have recon helicopters. I thought we lost all of ours. But we don't have any helicopters, but we have the recon helicopters. All right, that might be valuable. They are pretty expensive, though. Okay, I don't think there's anything else I can do here. Another option I could do is I could remove these guys and instead go with these the blowpipe ones, which are cheaper. So if we were to do that, how many points would we have? We have 62. May be able to do something with that, like do some recon vehicles. As these guys have some anti-armor capability, and not enough to defeat a tank, but these guys don't necessarily have as strong a tanks as other enemies we've seen do. So let's get this Scorpion in here for recon purposes, and we've got another one over here as well for recon purposes. Okay, so that's going to be our setup. So for the plan here is to hold out as long as we can. You know what? As much as this may be unwise, I am going to put both here because I want them to be able to rearm from the forward operating base. Okay, so as much as this may be unwise, we're going to try and hold out as best as we can. So let's go ahead and launch here. I'll go ahead and unload. So we already have some stuff here, which I'm not happy about. All right, let's get over here, unload you guys, and we're going to start regrouping. Regroup. Okay. Get back over here. Okay, we've already lost one. See if we can hit these guys. Okay, maybe not the best idea. Let's back off. Okay, we avoided taking any casualties there. Our Scorpion is still firing away. Okay, let's get some infantry in here. So I'm going to grab these guys. And we'll put them right here. Just going to have to keep our eye on these guys. I mean, this guy is still hitting, and they're not responding. Do we have any air that can do anything about that? We do have the Jaguar. We could knock out a command vehicle here, which would be worth a lot. I'm going to chill for now. I think, well, you know what? Screw it. I don't know if they have any air-to-air, though. That's, I mean, anti-air, so... Okay, have these guys leave. Manage to take out their tanks. Alright, well that worked pretty well. As a matter of fact, the enemy doesn't have much control here, so we may be able to do something with that. Okay, let's get... I'm just going to wait for more infantry. I mean, I honestly think we should take these tanks out, but I'll just wait for my air power, really. I expect an offensive at some point, though, so we have to be ready for that. We should have enough for our infantry now. Our infantry is taking a lot of casualties, I'm noting. And when the Jaguar is rearmed, we'll send them out and knock out this other T-72. Okay, one more missile. There we go. Oh. Anti-air. Hopefully our Jaguar can make it out. Looks like we got out. Oh. Last minute air-to-air missile there, so we can expect the enemy to use planes against me now. I should get the trucks out of there. I kind of forgot to do that. Okay. So we have enough for more stuff here. Oops, that's the wrong... All right, let's get these guys back. Okay. Let's get some more anti-air in the area. Okay. And then we'll get more infantry and things as we can. As a matter of fact, we can get that infantry now. And I would like to get some of those surface-to-air missile vehicles out as well. Because, again, we know that the enemy has planes. Speaking of planes, we see a helicopter coming. I'm going to want to have some ability to stop that once it gets close. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a Sea Harrier here real quick. If the helicopter gets too close, we'll go ahead and hit it with that. Okay. So far, so good. Now that helicopter does bother me a little bit because... just go ahead and unload these guys now. We can manually put them where we want them and then send the trucks away. Okay. So they do have a logistics vehicle in here. We did manage to knock one out, but let's go ahead and get some of that anti-air fences here. So just two for now. Put them over here. If they try and send planes against me, we'll have a fair number of missiles coming at them. We've got 4 here, and you guys are in position. So let's go ahead and send you over here. And again, we're just going to hold out now, more or less. The longer this goes on, the more infantry will be able to get involved, and the more secure we'll be. Okay, there's an anti-air missile system that we can see, but by the time I get my plane out, I'll lose vision on it, and then we'll eat a missile. So I don't want to have the only plane that I can knock tanks out with go away now. It did the casualties we wanted it to do. And we do have enough infantry now, 4 infantry, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh, hello. Go ahead and hit this guy. Okay, never mind. As we knocked him out. Okay, they're gonna hit me with artillery. We know the enemy is in the area. Fortunately, that artillery is pretty far away, so it's gonna have some trouble doing a lot of casualties to me. I could get more... Oh, never unloaded the trucks. Okay, let's get them out of here. Okay, let's get these guys regrouped. We didn't actually lose any casualties there. Okay, we're gonna have quite a few anti armor vehicle missiles going that way. Okay, you guys are in position. Okay, we've got tanks on the way. Okay, another baddie. Let's get our tornado out there to knock this guy out if we can. Okay, Harrier did its job. Hopefully the Jaguar can get some missiles off. Okay, let's get it out of there. Let's go after the tank here. I don't see any anti air defenses. Could be wrong. Oh, that was the wrong plane I just sent out. Did I send the Jaguar out there? Whoops. Okay, back you up. Okay, send the infantry up a little bit. Now the Jaguar is in position. Let's knock these guys out if we can. So, we took a lot of casualties here. Okay, Jaguar did its job. Get it out of there before it gets hit. Okay. Fortunately, I don't know if I can get much more infantry in this fight, but I'm going to try. Okay. Should we get that anti-air in there? I mean, we've got quite a few launchers here. Have them stop. Them stop. And we've got infantry on the way. Have these guys back up because the forest is getting destroyed here. Although I think right now they're a little panicked. Okay, we've got more infantry coming. Let's unload before they take too many casualties. Unfortunately, I was a little slow there. Okay, there's not a whole lot I can do to stop these casualties right now. We just don't have the distance. Have the infantry back up a little bit more. I don't have the Jaguar available, so we're just gonna have to take these casualties for right now. Oh, Addy. Let's send both of our... Okay, we got him. Let's get out of there. Okay. I think we may lose this zone. I'm gonna try my best to prevent that from happening, but... we can keep putting more infantry in here. Maybe. I mean, as they get closer... Oh, they took out my forward operating base. That's not good. So I'm going to run out of ammo as well. Let's get a logistics truck in here. I might not make it, but we can try. Get our infantry up here. Let's see if it can attack. Okay, our Jaguar will be on the way. It's pretty tense. We could get artillery. Well, I might as well get some infantry support over here, so we don't lose this zone. I don't know if my logistics vehicle made it. It did. Good, that will give me some capability to support. Let's get our long-range artillery here. We might be able to get some support going against the infantry and whatnot. Let's get these guys to back up a little bit. Let's see if we can get more infantry in here. Right now, we are holding out. Granted, we are also getting rained on by artillery. Have these guys move over here, maybe. Let's have a Harrier go strafe these guys. We have no idea where their armor is. We do have a helicopter in the region, although that might not be close enough. Okay, now never mind about these guys. Get them back in the woods. Okay. Okay, let's... Oh. Lost sight of them. There they are. Let's get that guy out, because I don't want to get him hit by anything. Oh! Hello there. Got some enemy on the way. Get our anti-tank defenses up here a little bit. We can strafe these guys again. Unload. Where's the infantry? There it is. Okay, they've been stunned. Get out of there. Okay, the rover needs to get out of there. Alright, let's have him stop. Okay. We lose our logistics truck? No, it's right there. Okay, let's have the Harrier come in here. Okay, let's get this helicopter out of there. Just a recon helicopter. Okay, get out of there. Okay, you can get out as well. Okay, it looks like we held. Let's get some more infantry in here. Although these woods are battered to hell. You know what? Let's get the rover vehicle over here. I think I can defend this a little bit more easily. And we'll get some more infantry. Once I have this guy deployed, I have to deploy him first. Matter of fact, the infantry might come from the wrong edge of the map, I realize. No, they're coming from the right edge. Okay. How was our logistics truck as far as supply? The bar would show up sometimes. I think they're empty, so get another one in here. So we lost a lot of our anti-tank vehicles, but we've done pretty heavy casualties to the enemy. As a matter of fact, just fire where we think the enemy is. Let's get a recon helicopter out here. We can protect them. We've got fairly good anti-air defense. Our planes have been doing a pretty good job, speaking of which. Let's get another tornado out here. Okay. Let's see if we can hit these guys. Okay. Just have you stop. Okay. We've got baddies doing bad things. Let's go ahead and fire here. Okay, the enemy's coming in. They apparently didn't like me very much doing what I'm doing. Let's get some more infantry in here, because we're going to be engaged fairly soon. Okay, artillery did good work there. Go ahead and continue firing on them if they're going to stay stationary. Okay, the Jaguar's back up. We do know there's anti-air in the area, though. So I'm going to chill. Looks like the enemy's trying a new offensive here. Probably some mortars would be useful in this situation. So let's get them out here. Okay, let's just keep hammering these guys. The enemy doesn't seem they want to engage here. Got a fair amount of infantry in this area. You guys need to unload. Truck's over there. I'm gonna grab another logistics vehicle. We'll put it in the woods here to help these guys.
What is it you want now?
These guys are both empty. It's really hard to tell. Yeah, the bar is empty. Let's get them out of the combat zone. There's no reason to lose them. And I don't have a forward operating base anymore. Okay, Let's go back to artillery. Just keep firing here. We're actually really close to getting as much as I need to win here. So if we keep hammering these guys, we might do enough casualties to knock them out. As a matter of fact, let's get some more mortars in here. Why not? More artillery we fire, more likely we're going to do casualties. And we're getting close to being able to do enough casualties to knock these guys out. And we'll just keep raining down on them. And then, oh, they're retreating. Okay, so that artillery fire is unfortunately not going to land. Well, it landed on the infantry, so that's good. Let's just fire on these infantry then. Where are they? Right there? Okay, we'll just keep firing away here. If I get an opportunity, I'll do an airstrike as we get closer to the end here. As a matter of fact, I need less than 100, so an airstrike on this tank might be enough. There we go. So we actually got a victory there, despite taking very heavy casualties and what have you. Let's continue here. So maybe the reinforcement of the 82nd Airborne was not necessary, as we managed to rout this unit, but we may have an opportunity to destroy units. So that reinforcement might still count, and also we can push with the unit we just deployed if that didn't necessarily work for us. So there's options available. Okay, so we defeated them. We've lowered their morale by 3 and destroyed 3 initiative points. The more important thing here is that we routed them. Also, our morale is now maxed at 8. I believe that is the max. All right. So it looks like we're going to have our second fight here, and this is going to be the 82nd Airborne against that depleted tank regiment. So all that anti-tank capability that we brought into this fight is going to be very important, because we know the enemy, I didn't actually check their anti-air, but we know the enemy's been depleted very heavily in air power, and we know that all they really have left is tanks. So we get those helicopters in here, we get those planes in here, we might be able to win the day just with that. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.